Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Monday night panel. Hope everybody's well. So let's bring Vic on straight away because we've got some bits to go through and we can share that. So let's just bring Vic on.
Hello, Chris. Hello.
Hello, are you okay?
I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, you might have noticed some pictures at the beginning of this. First of all, the Reverend W. Pitt. Now, there was a team picture from a long time ago. He was the gentleman holding the ball. Now, it was his birthday yesterday, the 18th of January, 1856. He was born in Exeter, the founder of Swindon Town FC, of course, and he died on the 21st of the 11th, 1936, and is buried in Liddington Churchyard. So, the Reverend W. Pitt, we are very grateful to him for what we all follow now. Colin Calderwood, it's his birthday tomorrow, the 20th of the 1st, 1965. Of course, leading Swindon from Division 4 to the Premier League and over 30 caps for Scotland, the great Colin Calderwood. And the late, great David Sirott, he was born on the 20th of January, 1956. Over 100 appearances for Swindon, 30 goals. And, of course, the first in that 2-2 draw with Everton. Everybody always remembers Kenny Stroud's goal, but of course David Sirott got the first. So the late great David Sirott, what a lovely chap. He passed away, of course, some years ago, but he was born on the 20th of January, 1956. And later in this week, it'll be the birthday of Jimmy Munro. Now, Jimmy Munro was a Swindon player who many years ago played in the side that beat Tottenham in the Southern League. They went out celebrating. And then later that night, it was pretty cold and horrible. And he contracted meningitis and died 4 years later. So I think his grave was recently restored. And James Munro has very much come part of Swindon folklore. So his birthday is a little later this week. So that's all those taken care of, Chris. And it's nice to mark those who are still no longer with us too. SAS news, sold out for Salford and Bromley, of course. Salford tomorrow night in the FA Cup. Third round. Extra coach now running to Notts County. That's a week tomorrow. Departs West Swindon at 1:30. The Nigel Eadie County Ground at 2 p.m. Members £23, non-members £25. And there's still a few seats left for Harrogate on the 3rd of February. Brackets, that's a Tuesday, close brackets. Departs West Swindon at midday. The Nigel Eadie County Ground at 12:30. Members £37, non-members £39, returning later that week. So that's the SAS news for you this week. Thanks to Laura and Mark for all the work that they do on SAS Travel. And also, there's a new steward in town recently as well, Chris, isn't there? So well done to you too. Yeah.
Just to go back to James Munro, his graveyard's up at Radnor Street Cemetery. So if anybody wants to, from Swindon, wants to go and see that, it was restored about 3-4 years ago, I think, wasn't it, with the help of the supporters club and everything.
Yes.
So good. So we are on the lookout for matchday ticket sellers. So we need a couple more. We've had permission that we can sell inside the ground. So we just want to sort of try and capture everybody. As you know, it's our main source of income. So the more we sell, the more we can put out to charities and help the club and things. So if you are interested, you have to be 18 or over due to the gambling laws. But if you are interested, please let us know on our email. So it's admin@stfc-ost.com, or just call us somebody from the committee on a match day, or if you see us at away games or anything, just ask. So, and then we can give you all the details then. So you did get commission and on what you sell. So just let us know if you'd like to earn a little bit of extra money. It's from 1 o'clock until kickoff. So it's not that much earlier than a lot of people get there. So just let us know.
And there will be a poster appearing on socials over the next few days.
There will be, which will have the email address on as well. So
yes.
Look out for that if you didn't catch it. So
yes.
Right, so we've got a couple of
one more item. One more, to celebrate my 70th year.
Oh yes.
I'm not terribly sure whether it's a wise thing to do when you reach 70, but anyway, I will be running the London Marathon in April. It's the day after Swindon Town are at Grimsby, so the logistics are quite horrendous. Anyway, so what I am aiming to do is to have a little sweepstake, if you like, as to what my finishing time might be. I don't know, chuck a quid on. It's all to raise money for the Phoenix charity that we had Charity of the Year last year. So that will be launched in the Legends Lounge on time for the next home game. All you need to do is put the time in which you think I might finish, put a quid in or whatever you want to do, and we'll raise some money for Phoenix, and I'll have lots of aching legs. So there you go. Anytime you want to get in touch with me and give some money, I'll be grateful. Thank you.
Are you going to have some on the OSC website to donate donation as well?
Yeah, can do. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. We'll sort that out. Fantastic. And good luck. I hear
Thank
the training's going well. So
yeah, I don't think Mo Farah's got nothing to worry about, I don't think. But little Mo in EastEnders might have. You never know.
And we really ought to pay tribute to the Swindon Town women.
Yes.
They've done so well this season with the Cups and the League. They were unbeaten. Come up against a very good Charlton team yesterday. I'm sure the score doesn't sort of reflect on the game at all. Charlton are full time. We're not. And so it's a lot of unhappy faces, I expect, today, because but they should be proud of what they've done this season anyway. Got another cup to go through in the league, so keep your heads up. And they are at home on Sunday if anybody wants to go and see them.
Sure. John has already commented. He says, "I can't believe I'm nearly 70," says John. Well, actually, I'm more than 70 now, John. So. Thank you. I think.
Okay. So let's get the panel on. Got Nick.
Good evening.
Hi, Nick.
Hi,
Nick.
Okay, if we get anybody else, I will put them straight on. Okay?
Yeah, lovely.
See you
Thanks very
later.
much. See you later. Thank you very much. I've got an email which I'd like to discuss with you, gentlemen, as we go on, but I think we better go through the proceedings of Saturday. Mike, a very nice background of the Oasis Leisure Centre, which sadly is closed at the moment. A wonderful innovation when it was put in. And like the Abbey Stadium at Blunsdon, two Swindon landmarks which are no longer operating. Swindon is a speedway town, and the Oasis a really, really good leisure centre. So, hey, that's the way it goes, I'm afraid. But sadly, is the way I'd put it. And Nick with the county ground, of course, in the background, recently returned from the good old US of A. And Andy in darkest Dorset. Very good evening to you. Good evening. Swindon Town 2, Salford City 3, Nick. What was your impression of the game?
I thought we started off even, then they got the head of it with the goals. We come back. I thought it was second half, I thought we done better, but they got the goal to go 3-1 up. And then we made it 3-2. I thought, personally, I know people saying bad. I thought a draw would have been a fair result, but we didn't get it. Personally, in my opinion.
From a coaching perspective, though, the defensive work was not very good, I should imagine.
No, that was very, especially that second goal. Oh, my God. You know, there's three of our defenders. There goes on, and he comes in and puts it in. So you'd be going nuts over that. Even the third goal, Reed, I know he's crossed it and the guy's hit it first time, but then he's marking to get it challenging. As long as you get a challenging, but they didn't seem to have many challenges, considering how well we've done lately defensively. But that usually happens, isn't it? When you do well, when you do let it go, it just seems to be bad goals. It ain't like, oh, we're unlucky they scored a decent goal. It just seems when you have an off day like that, it is bad goals you can see. But yeah, he couldn't have been happy with that, defending on that on Saturday. That was poor.
Yeah, I don't think he was listening to his post-match interview. I think he was pretty angry about the whole thing. The bare statistics, Swindon 2, Salford 3. Half-time it was 1-2. Salford going in front through Oliver Turton on 24 minutes, and then 2 up through Kelly Nimai on 31 minutes. Joel McGregor pulled one back on 35. Then it was Kelly Cisse who got one on 72 before Aaron Drinan got one back on 71. The assist for Swindon, Will Wright on 35 and Fletcher Holman on 77. What a beautiful cross that was. Garbett, Graydon and Udo getting the assist for Salford. Andy, what was your impression?
when teams sort of have a good think about us, the teams that cause us the biggest amount of trouble are those that swamp our midfield. There's one person that's a heartbeat of our side, and that's Kilkenny. He's always give you 7 out of 10. Go and swamp him. Teams like the Barnets, the Accringtons away, the Crawley at home, they swamp our midfield. They stifle us, and we become quite sterile. And it takes a while, so we then resort to long ball. Now, the jury's out with Ollie Palmer. There's mixed people. People say that he's not doing well. Some people say he's working hard, but Salford, they're cute. Carl Robinson, nearly 1,000 games. He knows what he's doing, and I think he suffocated us. To be fair, I think Holloway looked at it and changed it around, and it made a bit of a difference. But that's often the problem. Is a lot of teams suss us out, and they swamp our midfield. So, let's hope this new guy coming in, he might give us a little bit of an angle. Yeah, it was difficult. I daren't say it, but I think it was a shame. We're in a really good place, aren't we? Let's face it. We're second in the league. We're doing well in the EFL Cup. I know there's issues, and we potentially got a 4th round draw against Man City. We should be really feeling good, and yet there was a bit of a malaise over the place. Whether it was because of what went on in the week before, it wasn't. It didn't seem as sort of we should be more buoyant, and I think that would have then permeated to the team.
Yeah, Mike, what was your impression on Saturday? I mean, it did feel a little flat, and I think maybe having played so well on Tuesday night, the events that subsequently happened took a real gloss off that, and maybe it did permeate to the performance on Saturday. But defensively, as I said to Nick, it wasn't the best, was it?
No, I think sometimes that you just in watching football, you just gotta sit back after the game and say, do you know what? I don't like Carl Robinson. I've never liked him. I don't like his smoke little scout face and the way that he winked at us when he went down the tunnel after he clapped both of the Salford fans who'd made the trip. But he prepared his side really well Saturday. I think they came with a very clear game plan. It was very obvious right from the start, like Andy said. Right.
Sorry, Mike, carry on.
They knew if they stopped Kilkenny, they could stop us creating too much. Probably cope with that. That's exactly what they did. I thought we were a little bit off the pace for probably large parts of the game. Certainly defensively, we looked a little bit off the pace. And at the end of the day, they took 3 chances that we gave to them very well. And I said to Andy before the game that little winger of theirs, Kelly and it beats the hell out of me why that boy is not playing in a higher level, because he's ripped us apart the last couple of times we played him. And he did it again. And it just kind of, on the day, they were better prepared. They wanted it more. And we have to show them tomorrow that we actually are better than them.
Yeah, Mr. Hawes, you were obviously commentating on it. I mean, the first half wasn't great, was it? And Salford certainly took the chances that they had. They looked the better side. I don't think anybody would argue with that. And I know Ian Holloway afterwards wasn't very happy with his team when he spoke to you. What was your impression of it?
No, apologies for being late, first of all. I think from the bits I heard, if Mike was talking about Salford getting grip on midfield, I do think that's been a bit of a theme of both the games against them. So, and obviously, they've taken advantage and scored early, but it did feel like a bit of a dip from what we have been able to produce recently. And I think we are finding home games a bit of a slog at the moment. You look at the wins against Tranmere and Gillingham; they've been quite so difficult. Gillingham easily could have got a point. It needed that Monroe goal to get us past Tranmere. So we do seem to be finding it a little bit difficult to really kind of exert authority at home, I think.
I've got a question here which you might be able to answer, Mr. Hawes, actually. So it's from Jamie. Is the game on TV tomorrow? Do we know? Is it on TV?
I don't believe so. No, unless it's on The only thing it might be on is a Discovery Plus, I guess, but I'm not certain. I'm not certain it is at all. So
It's on Paramount Plus
apologies.
if you live in America.
It is if you live in America. Yeah. Well, I don't know where you live, Jamie. If you're in America, you're in luck. But if not, doesn't sound like you are. His mood afterwards, he said he was in a bad mood. How is it approaching him when he's in that sort of? I mean, I know with your colleague, Mr. Hodgetts, on Friday, he was a little bit taciturn.
Yes. I think
yeah.
he is still, I think, generally absolutely furious about the whole Luton scenario and the kind of player charges he thinks have been unjustly brought on both occasions, really. And if he perceives injustice, then the world will be informed sooner or later. So I think that's kind of bubbling under, really. So he's generally towards the more volcanic end, shall we say at the moment. I don't think it takes much to get that sort of whole feeling and whole sort of issue back in his mind, and once it does it gets under his skin.
So change your flat cap to a tin hat, I'd suggest. Probably is a good idea.
It might be wise. I think whoever spoke to him on the Friday, and it was just by chance I wasn't doing it, was likely to cop some strays, as I believe is the modern phrase.
Yes. Let's have a look at the Swindon lineup then. It was 5-3-2, Ripley in goal, Snowden, Wright, Tavazzoli, Wilson, Brown, McGregor across the back, Kilkenny, Nichols, Oldacre in the middle, Drinan and Palmer up front. The referee was Mr. Charles Breakspear. The assistants, Mark Wilson, Grant Taylor, Gregory Reed was the fourth official. What do you think of that lineup, Nick?
It's all right. You can't. I think we got a good squad, and whichever one he plays. I mean, I know fans are on about Mbete, and I do like Mbete at the back there. But again, if we won, they wouldn't say anything. If you lose, people are going to complain. It's just the way it goes. The two big, Drinan and Palmer up front. I like maybe I'm old. I do like the two up front. But to me, we played them wide. I like my front two playing together to play off each other. But we don't seem to do that. We don't know, and I do like two players being close together so they can play off each other. But I never see us doing that. We seem to play, if we have three up front, it's one in the middle and two wide. So you're playing three individuals. To me, I like two up top. Always have done. So yeah, I don't think those front two work, Palmer and Drinan, personally. I don't think they work together.
Fletcher Holman coming on, he did well, didn't he? I mean, that cross for Drinan's goal was an absolute peach, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's going to give him confidence. He can play up the middle as well. So I'd like to, again, I'd like to see my front two play together. I'm having a front playing together, but to me, they don't. We don't have a link up. We don't have a partnership of a front two. Like we've had over the year, different times when you can say over the years we've had the front twos playing together, but we don't have that now. It's like individuals playing up there. And I'm a big believer in two playing together.
Yeah, partnerships. Well, you can think back, can't you? Some great partnerships in years gone by. Andy, what about that lineup? I mean, obviously, circumstances dictate, don't they? Obviously, there's no Ollie Clark for reasons well documented. And there are injuries about. But what about that lineup?
In my humble opinion, if you play like the 5-3-2 or whatever you want to call it, 3-5-2, it's quite an attacking and offensive way of playing. And I think if you're playing three at the back, that at least one of them has to have an element of pace. Now, with respect to Wilson Brown, he's just coming back after a little bit of a layoff. But, in the greatest respect to Will Wright and Tafazoli, who are experienced guys, I would rather see a little bit more pace in there. Because that was quite fundamental. They were quite slow to react and everything like that on occasions. I mean, I know the goals were strange. The first goal, it was probably Nichols actually he didn't jump with was it Turton, but I'd just like to see a little bit more pace in there if we can possibly do it. So Mbete for me would have been a better choice. And ironically, and I never thought we'd say this, but we're missing our Bristol City man, isn't he? Well, I can't remember his name now. He's gone out of my head.
Knight the Bell.
Like the bell, yeah. We're missing him actually at the back because I think he's been probably the most effective. So I'm not sure he can play Wright and Taffarelli together, but the jury's out on that.
Comments coming in. Hi Nick, do we think we can keep the bounce back after a loss statistic going? I think he's up there. We haven't lost 2 in a row for over a year now. I think that's right in saying that. So that's quite a statistic. Hi, Gary. The second goal was unfortunate, sat right by the action, and the forward meant to shoot, came off his boot straight into the path of the little tricky guy. Hi, Sean. Fuming over Luton, rightly so. FA should hold their hands up. Dad says Fletcher Holman did well after coming on. Certainly like the look of him. In fact, he was a bit annoyed, really, I think, wasn't he, Mike? Because Ollie Kigby had the chance to square the ball to him when he was on his own on the right-hand side. So it would have been a great opportunity for him to have scored.
He did let him know as well in more important terms that he wanted the ball. I thought he looked very sharp when he came on. He looked like he really wanted it. He looked like he felt like he had a point to prove. And certainly, but we said the same about Princeville for his first game at Cardiff, and that didn't quite turn out so well. So let's see him over the course of 5, 6, maybe 10 games. And the start was excellent. His cross was brilliant. The way that he ran down the touchline, waving the crowd up and trying to gee everybody up after he'd scored that second goal as well, shows that he's probably got an older head on his shoulders than we might have imagined. But let's just hope that he does keep it going.
Yeah, 8,129 was the attendance. Just over 100 made the trip from Salford. I think slightly more will be going from Swindon to Salford tomorrow night for the FA Cup tie, but we'll leave that comment there, shall we? Let's have a look. Hi, Fifey. I was pleased to hear he was rightly annoyed post-match. Falls rush in at 9 o'clock tonight, of course. Tony says, agree, Nick. I think you're on about the partnerships up front. I think that's what he's agreeing with. Yeah. Gary says, we always seem to start slow at home, and second half on Saturday was a lot better. Hi, James. Drilling and Glatz, much better than with Palmer, to be honest. And he also says, and Betty has to start starting games, in my opinion. Do you think it will be 4-3-3 tomorrow, says Kevin. Andrew, is it going to be 4-3-3 tomorrow?
If you force me to say, I feel like it's more likely than not. I think he thinks he's got to change it up a bit after the Saturday's game, and they were more effective like that. What the personnel will be, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him shift something quite different, really, after these first 2 games they've had with Salford.
Are we expecting any movement? I mean, I'll ask you this every week in January because you have to ask this question every week. It's part of it's written in your job description, isn't it? Are we expecting any movement this week?
I'd never rule it out, but I didn't think it's kind of highest on the list at the moment. I think they're still kind of trying to work out what they do with the sort of last loan, really, whether they do feel they've got to go out and get a sort of Munro style replacement, or whether they think they've got the players to do that sort of left-sided job in the squad or not. So I think that's the main concern. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if one more did come in at some point, but at the moment they're pretty happy with sort of what they have, and then it's just where do they figure they use that extra slot to just bring in one different or slightly dynamic option.
I see Munro played for the first time for Middlesbrough, didn't he, in an under-21 match? It might have been Saturday. Got a couple of goals in that. He was on the bench, I think, wasn't he, for Middlesbrough Friday night? Didn't come on as a sub. So does that count towards playing for 2 clubs if you've come on for Middlesbrough in under-21? I don't think it does.
I don't think so. But I think given the fact he's gone there and gone straight on the bench and then promptly played and scored twice for their under-21s, I can't see him immediately resurfacing magically. I think the ship has sailed.
Yes, fair enough. Let's have a look. Tom Wilson-Brown was my man of the match and is clear as our best defender. Glad he's back. Ripley was not at his best Saturday. I think, Nick, that that error must have kept him awake at night, mustn't it? He got away with it, but boy, oh boy, it was close.
Yeah, he's lucky he got away with it, because if that went in, God, oh, yeah, that would keep you awake. When you got away with it, you're lucky, it won't be remembered. It won't be on the old Christmas reel, as they say, because it didn't go in. But if that went in, that could have easily been on the Christmas reel. God, I can't believe the Ford missed it. It was just an open goal for him to roll it into. I just couldn't believe it when he missed that. But,
no, I think if you were the forward coach at Salford, you wouldn't be too pleased about that, would you?
No, because that was just roll it into the net. The goalie's messed it up, and you just roll it in. But yeah, that was definitely taking your eye off the ball moment. That was.
Yeah. Ian says, really worried about this week. Sean says, do you guys think the Luton saga may have had a bit of an effect on Saturday? And apart from the goal, Drins had an awful game on the Saturday. We'll get back to Salford in a minute, but this is from George, who sent me this email today, and I'd like to discuss this. It goes back to that point just now about the week that's coming up. In 8 days' time, we could be out of 2 cups and out of the top 7 for the first time in months. But conversely, we could be heading to Manchester City in the quarterfinals of the Virtue Trophy, brackets, but a few £1,000 lighter closed brackets, and top of the league. A pivotal week, if ever there was one. George, Nick, what's your view on that?
I said earlier, I think we're going to win tomorrow. I just got a funny feeling we're going to win tomorrow, and then Bromley, who knows? That's something we got to get something out of that game. That's something we're looking at. But again, tomorrow we should win because we don't lose 2. We don't lose 2 on the chart, do we? So we should. But could they beat us 3 times this season? Hopefully not. So I think it's our turn tomorrow to get the win. And like I said earlier, I would have took that. I know people have been moaning at me. I would, when I said that before Saturday, I would take the win on Tuesday rather than Saturday. So I think
is that financially? Is that because of the finance?
Yeah, but the finance plus we get points. People are going to drop points, and this, that, and the other. So that was always my thing with it. And then Saturday's, a massive game with Bromley away. If we can get something out of that, who knows? If you can win tomorrow, that's going to give you confidence going into Saturday. So, I think I could see us winning tomorrow and drawing Saturday.
That was the end of the winning run for Bromley on Saturday. Of course, they drew with Chesterfield, didn't they? So their runs of wins has come to an end. And it is a huge week, isn't it, when you look at it?
It is, but it's also exciting, isn't it? If you think you can cast your mind back 12 months ago, or a little bit further, and we were sort of like, scratching our head as we were going to stay in this division or not. It means that the fact that it's busy and there's lots of big games means that we're doing well. We're still in 2 cups in middle of January. I mean, it's almost unheard of. And I cast my mind back to, that famous season of 85-86, when it was ridiculous, like 62 games. We were in Freight Rover still, and we were in cups, and we still won the league. It's exciting, and if we're going to get a good win on tomorrow night. Just we've had a bad week in terms of what happened at Luton. You have a win tomorrow night, you think of the momentum that brings you into. You've got the excitement of a Man City game, and taking that into the game at Bromley. And then we do well at Bromley. Then we got Notts County again on the Tuesday night. It will just roll, and there's nothing you can't beat it. If the momentum will change, and the attitude will change, and the mood will change, and Holloway's mood will change. Win tomorrow night is massive. Take each game as it comes, and it's exciting, isn't it?
What's your view on the week to come, Mike? I mean, it's a lot of travelling, we know that, but what's your view on it?
I'm just going now. Yeah.
Unlike Nick, before Saturday, I would have taken a win on Saturday over the win in the cup. My view of that has slightly changed, having lost on Saturday. It makes the game against Bromley doubly important. It makes tomorrow night's game possibly a little bit less important. I think it's the most important thing for us, I think, is to stay ahead of 4th place. Is to keep up, because teams below us picked up points on us on Saturday. That is more important. I'm also slightly concerned about the from a financial point of view. I actually looked it up today. The game against Luton, the winner got £40,000. The game at the next round, so the Plymouth game, whoever plays it, the winner gets 50,000 quid. So actually, that's not to be sniffed at either. So once you get to this stage of that competition, so I don't think it's just a big week. I think it's a pretty big month coming up. And does anybody know when the FA are having their meeting, or whoever it is, to decide what's going to happen?
Well, I think Swindon have until the 22nd to reply. I think that's right, isn't it, Andrew? They've got till the 22nd of January to send in their reply, and then I guess the men in Blazers will sit down and discuss the case. I think that's fair to say, isn't it, Andrew?
Yeah. So yeah, as you say, nothing can happen till I think it's till after Thursday. So yeah, I think Swindon have got to put their case forward by Thursday, and then presumably the FA will look to do it as FA Stroke League will look, because it is a football league competition, will look to do it as swiftly as possible, really, to end all the uncertainty that lies around it.
Can I ask a question, Vic? Just on that?
Yeah.
Assuming we, say that we stay in the competition, what actually happens to the Plymouth game? Because it's scheduled for that week, but we've got Newport on telly on the Wednesday, have we? Does anyone know what happens? What I presume the league game takes a precedent, and we just play the Plymouth game at a later time.
I would guess so, because you do have like the recommended dates for the rounds, but they're certainly pretty flexible for when the under-21 teams can play. But I'm not sure. I honestly don't know if there's like a definitive pecking order in which competition comes where.
Yeah. The top of the table reads like this: Bromley are top, 52 points in 26 games with a goal difference of 17. Then comes Swindon, 6 points behind, 46 and 25, goal difference of 12. Walsall in third, 46 from 25, 11 goal difference. And then the playoff positions, this is so tight now at the top of the table. Salford in fourth place, 46 from 25, goal difference 5. Milton Keynes, 44 from 26, goal difference 20. Then come Cambridge, 44 from 25, goal difference 10. And then Notts County, 42 from 25, goal difference 11. So you could see, Andrew, why Ian made the point about the week ahead, because Anna G. George did as well, because we play, obviously, Salford tomorrow in the Cup, Bromley in the league, Notts County in a week on Tuesday. So, a lot of these games, and that could close the top 7 up, couldn't it? And he's right. George is right. We could be out the top 7 very, very quickly.
Yeah, that's a little margin for error has gone. I mean, I don't think we'd all be particularly gloomy if we got a draw at Bromley on Saturday, but that could put you outside the top 3 for the first time in a long time, and then you have to go and face Notts County, and then suddenly you're it feels a bit more psychologically like you're back in the pack, and you've got to kind of scramble your way back up, even if you get a decent point away. So it is very tight. I guess the kind of little stumbles we've had have meant the sort of we've used up the kind of safety margin we had now. So there's not a lot of space for defeat, certainly at the very least.
And what's the injury situation? I think Knight LaBelle is not far off. Is that right?
Yeah, he's not too far off. I didn't think he'll be back for tomorrow, but he was getting closer. I don't think Billy Bowden's quite ready to come back either. But again, he's not far off. So I'm not sure there'll be any sort of obvious additions from what we had available at the weekend. There are sort of 2 more bench slots.
And is Danny Butterworth back in any form of training now?
He the last one we checked last week, he's kind of started. I think he sort of started running, as it were. So he's back on the grass, as the cliche goes, but he's not ready to get back and involved near sort of first team active activity yet. But he is making what sounds like good progress.
Because I think, Nick, he's been a big miss, hasn't he? I mean, he's the sort of player you bring late on, and he terrorises defences.
Yeah, if you remember the last time I was on, I said about players I want an attacking mid, because you miss that player who can run at you and score goals, because we don't have enough of that. That was my one big thing. That's what I said. That's why I said we need an attacking sort of goal-scoring midfield player. That's what I would like, because we rely a lot on Drinnan too much at times to scoring the goals. And fair play to him, he's had a great season in doing it. But yeah, Butterworth was great. He was so tricky at running at you, causing problems for teams. So he is a bit of a miss.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that, can't you? When you want somebody to come on have a go at tired defenders. As a coach, that's a bit of a dream, isn't it?
Yeah, that's you know, late on you bring someone on who could cause you problems, maybe set up a chance or score a goal, and he could do both of them. That was one thing with Butterworth. He scored some good goals, and he did set up goals as well. So yeah, he is a miss. That's why we always said we need that, and hopefully this young lad from Sunderland seems, people are saying he ain't a bad player. See what he's like, because then he ain't attacking mid. So you're hoping, some of these new players, new signings might come good for you.
Yeah, Ben Middlemas, of course. We haven't seen him in action yet. I know he was in the Junior Reds on Saturday, as was Jake Tabor, and they had a great old time. I don't think they wanted to come and watch the game, to be honest, because they had such a good time in the Junior Reds that they were happy to stay there. Right, let's have a look at some of the comments. Beat Salford, Man City and Plymouth. Ruin Arsenal quadruple 2. Let's go. Gosh, that would be some run, wouldn't it? Gary says, it makes me laugh about this Ollie Clark saga. A few years ago, Vinnie Jones and Gaza, all over the back pages, people laughed about it. It's not that funny, though, is it? I mean, I've got to say, yes. Hi, Rob. Kept a few off the gate, I think. A lot of people were saying things like, here we go again. It's almost too painful. Am I correct? The EFL and FA will respond on the 22nd to the events at Luton. Well, I think Swindon have to respond by the 22nd. When the EFL and FA respond, as Andrew said, well, hopefully it will be pretty quickly. Adrian says, Robinson's got our number, never fails against us. And he does seem to do that, Andy, doesn't he? He knows how to set up against Swindon.
Interesting statistic, actually, with Salford. We've never beaten them at home in the 5 years. Is it 5 seasons now? 5-6 seasons? Yeah, he is. He's an old head, isn't he? 1,000 games and everything like that. And as much as we say loathe him, I remember him castigating me once because of Mark Cooper's setting up a funny team at Preston North End about 3 weeks before that debacle at Wembley. Yeah, but those are the type of people, the Evanses of this world. They know this, how to sort of perform in these. They know how to sort of negate you. But I mean, I think Mike made a point to me on Saturday. Salford didn't come for a point, did they? They played, and even they were looking, I think, to sort of carry on when they were 3-1 up. They weren't sitting back. So I mean, as much as we don't like him. You've got to respect him, haven't you? Definitely.
Possession, Swindon had 60.4%. Salford had 39.6%, which is a bit surprising. We had more shots, 14-9, and 6 on target against Salford's 4. And total passes, Swindon 451, Salford 291. So we won on statistics, Mike. Great.
Unfortunately, they put it on graphs there.
As we say every week, there's only one statistic that matters, really, isn't there?
Exactly. And I didn't catch what you said about the shots on goal. The mere fact that 3 of theirs hit the back of the net and only 2 of ours hit the back of the net is the most important thing. And like Andy said, I said during the game, they have not come just for a point. They come because they believe that they can turn us over, and they believed rightly. And you can't knock it. You can't knock it. We just have to sit back and say, okay, we'll take that. We'll take that knock back, providing that we go and turn Bromley over in the same fashion on Saturday. So.
Yeah,
isn't it a bit strange thinking about we need to go and turn Bromley over? Because Bromley,
yeah, but
once, so there you go. Yeah.
They're top of the league for a reason, aren't they? I mean, their form has been fantastic, and you have to take your hats off to them. They were big and ugly last year as well, weren't they? But we got a point there over Christmas, which is a decent point. We turned them over at home, if I remember rightly. I mean, fair play to them. But you're right. I mean, the fact that we have a huge game at Bromley, if you'd said that 4 years ago, nobody would have taken that seriously, would they? But credit to them. They're where they are, aren't they? So fair play to them. Lawyers are involved. If the FA don't accept liability, then it could go to court, says Sean. Oh, goodness me. Said that because it could end up dragging out. Man City and 115 charges. Whatever happened to that one? Darren says, you're joking. Palmer was and has been our downfall lately. Too slow with him in the game. And Stuart says, does seem that we've gone back to playing the long ball a lot more. Thought we were doing well building from the back. Having said that, Andrew, there was one delicious long ball which led to their second goal on Saturday, wasn't there? the aforementioned ball across the box, and they were 2 up. So I have nothing against the long ball at all.
No, effective. That's the word you want, isn't it? Whether it's long pass, great long ball, whatever it is, really. No, I know there's like a real split about Palmer. I actually thought Palmer was becoming more influential when we took him off, and I think we are kind of rotating people around. But I think at the start of the second half they were able to like get it up to him, and it did seem to stick a bit. And I thought he was bringing other people into play. But Palmer does seem a very kind of divisive figure, doesn't he? And how people look at what he does and how effective it is or isn't in their point of view.
What was your view of that one that was cleared off the line? We couldn't really see it properly. You were higher up than us, but what was your view of that one?
I must admit I couldn't see a lot with the angle in front of us either as well. So I couldn't entirely tell you what happened. I just saw the what's his name, Garbutt, the left back, just kind of fist pumping in the air wildly, and a lot of disappointed and slightly bewildered people as to how the ball didn't go in. But I can't rewind it in my head for you.
Was that offside as well, though?
Well, the linesman did have a flag up, didn't he? But I wonder whether that was for a goal kick. I'm not really sure. It was a mess, to be honest. And we thought, how did the ball stay out? That's what we couldn't quite work out. But there you go. Let's have a look. Does seem that we've gone back to playing the long ball a lot more, though, and we were doing well building from the back. How Holm and Chance stayed out at the end, I don't know. I think that's the one to which we refer.
No one. It's official. No one knows clearly.
Yeah,
no one knows.
Yeah, quite. Yeah. We haven't beaten Salford away either since the first 3 visits there that we won. I was looking at the head-to-heads actually. Swindon won 3, Salford won 3, drawn 4. So it's pretty even. Yeah, we did go there and had quite a good run at one point, didn't we? But anyway, that's all out the window. It doesn't really matter tomorrow night, does it? Yeah. Nick, right, this week that's coming up, I mean, this thing that's happening with Luton, does it affect players? Is it affecting players?
I don't think so. They're paid to play. They know it's their job. They can't do nothing about that. So, to me, it's an excuse. If you do bad, you can blame it. That's an easy excuse to blame. You're paid to play, and you love to play. That's what they want to do is play. There's no, we moan about, it's coming up Tuesday, Saturday. You ask players, they rather play than train. So they prefer to play games. It's much better for them. They'd rather play than train. Every player would be the same. You'd rather play than train. So for me, no. It's an exciting week. We could be sat here next week winning all 3 games on cloud 9, thinking, here we go. But it could be the opposite as well. But I always look positive, and I think we're going to do well.
Because it seems to me that they played so well on Tuesday night at Luton, and then to have this hanging over them, would it be a bit of a lead in the boots moment or not?
I don't think so. The only thing with Tuesday, and a player I do like, is the captain. I just think he drives the team on. What I do think we miss him is drive, and I like him in midfield because he's everywhere. He runs everywhere. I do think we miss that drive of his when he's not in the team. So I do think we are missing him. And I think that's why they took so long to suspend him. So we got all these games coming up, innit? Screw Swindon again. We're missing. They probably worked that out. Oh, they got all their hard games here. We're suspending there. He can miss all those games.
It is a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hi, Darren. Can we park in the County Ground car park tomorrow? First time on the supporters coach for a long time. Yes. Normally what happens is your number is taken and then it's forwarded on so it doesn't charge if you see what I mean. So yeah, park in the County Ground car park and then hand your number in to the person in charge of the bus and they'll forward it on to the club officials. It's the words I'm trying to work out. Do you reckon it has an effect, Andy?
I was thinking about this, whether with social media now, there's more that, the players looking at it. You'd like to think that Holloway is an experienced enough person to sort of like say, look, let's park this. We can't do anything about it. But the way he's been this week, he's been very, very animated and very angry. So maybe that's, as I said earlier, permeated into the club, because it certainly was on that Saturday. We were flat. We should have been a lot more. I'd like to think not. And obviously tomorrow will be a big sort of opportunity to see whether things are improving, shall we say.
Yeah. I mean, you said it's them against us, Mike. Does that work? It didn't work on Saturday, clearly, because they got beat.
This was Holloway going on about the siege mentality.
Yes.
That I heard him mention in 3 interviews. Well, I didn't see any evidence of a siege mentality on Saturday at all, really. I was hoping that we would come up with a siege mentality. I think the answer to your question that you asked before is, I think it's affected the manager more than it's affected the players, because like Nick says, they just go out and they play, and they'll say, that's what we do. I think it's affected the manager, and I think that's most definitely probably permeated into 1 or 2 people maybe being a little more tentative and less free-flowing than they might be on the pitch, because they're worried about their manager's going to have a petulant outburst at them like he had at Sean Hodges. And that was what he said to Sean Hodges, I think, was unacceptable. It was absolutely, it was disgraceful, I think, what he said. And if that sort of language and emotion is being bandied around in front of players, I can imagine that they said, I don't want that coming at me. So I think it definitely had an effect. And the sooner this whole sorry saga is behind us, I mean, it's like Andy said, it's just very sad, really, that we've got ourselves in such a great position in the last 14 months, 15 months since he's been here. And all of a sudden, in the space of a week, we shoot ourselves in the foot so badly. Once again, just as all the naysayers were being really quiet and the positivity was returning, this has just given, it's poured petrol on the fire of the whole Orange Hat Brigade and everybody else to be blaming everybody else. And I don't think Holloway's actions over the last week have actually helped that at all. I think it's hindered it. And it's, when he was said to Sean, "I'm not the face of the club." Well, I'm sorry, but I'd argue with that. Actually, he is.
Yeah, Andrew, when you go into a press conference, are you limited to the amount of? Because I think he was able to ask one question. Is that right? And
Well,
the obvious thing is, this is the subject that everybody's talking about. I mean, when in the ground on Saturday, nobody wanted to talk about the game. Basically, every time I spoke to somebody, it was about this event at Luton, and I think it's fair to say that was the subject everybody wanted to know about.
Yeah, no. I certainly, I didn't think, from what Mike or anyone's really said to me, that the questioning itself was not legitimate. I don't think it's sort of clear that it was meant to be just one question and so on. But as I wasn't there, obviously I can't say definitively on that or not. But yeah, I think especially because I'd spoken to him on Tuesday, and we kind of got a reasonable grip of the team sheet issue, but the Clark thing was new, and that was the first time we'd had a chance to speak to anyone at the club about it. So I think you kind of have to pursue it, really. As I've said, I'm not sure it's particularly sort of vitriol aimed at Sean as a person. I think it was just he's kind of absolutely raging, and whether it was me, Sean, I don't know, anyone else, Joe from the Advertiser, I think the first person was going to have to go over the top 1918 style and hope for the best.
Yes. Tough questions have to be asked, don't they? I mean, they do. It's that simple, really. In the course of a 10-month season, it has to happen.
Yeah, and especially it's a bit different, isn't it, from were your subs right and that sort of thing, isn't it? It's clearly another sort of level of issue. The fact they could get thrown out of the competition, they could get a big fine, and so on. Compared to the more kind of everyday football discourse with the manager.
Yeah, we may or may not be playing Plymouth in the next round. We'll see. On a lighter note, John has been in touch regarding backgrounds. Steady performance on backgrounds. Was anybody present for Bebop Deluxe at the Oasis in the mid-70s? A lot of concerts at the Oasis, of course. Nice headphones. Sorry, say that again.
It's in the night.
Yeah. Nice headphones. Present? Yes, they were present. And for my 70th, the aforementioned 70th. Thank you very much. It was a voucher, and I bought these. So I hope that answers that question for you.
Did you change the colour, Vic?
Sorry, did I what?
Did you choose the colour?
I did. Yeah.
Not
Matches your jumper. Actually, I got another.
Man City ones. Yeah.
Nothing to do with any football team. I just thought they were nice headphones. I did see a report, and the Welsh FA has got involved. Ollie Clark referenced the suspension. The Welsh FA, why would they be involved?
Because it's against Cardiff, I suppose. But I'm not aware of that. But but I don't know.
Oh yes, of course, Cardiff. Hopefully not increasing the suspension. I think they can't lose twice to Salford. Quote, put a lot of pressure on. If it goes to court, we could be seeing the final being played next season. Needs sorting it as soon as possible. Of course, that did happen. COVID, didn't it? Salford won it on the Saturday, and then it was played again the following years. Was played on the Sunday, the day after. So Salford held the trophy for one day, if I remember rightly, under Richie Wellens. The trouble with our supporters is we lose one game and all of a sudden we're relegation material. But I do agree about Holloway being a bit off in the interview, but I also get it from Ian's point of view as well. I think Holloway's angry with himself over Luton. Now, can you explain, Nick? I mean, you've been in this position where you have to hand in a team sheet, all that kind of stuff. It's no longer on a piece of paper, is it? It's now, to use the word of the week, you check on a portal, whatever that may be. So it's all on an iPad rather than a piece of paper. Should be on a piece of paper, shouldn't it?
Well, so everyone can see it. You can get it easier on a piece of paper, but someone at the club must have done this. You know, someone's got to be responsible for this, to have changed it and let everyone know. So I don't know, you know, because that happened to me years ago when I was at Colne. We beat Corsham in the FA Cup. We were all having, FA Cup, we were in it. Then our secretary, we had a player who was suspended. We got kicked out of it. Wow. I was fuming. We got kicked out of it. We beat them and we got kicked out of it because we played this player who come to us, but he was suspended from the year before, and he shouldn't have played in it. And our secretary didn't pick it up, and we got kicked out of the FA Cup. Oh
goodness!
I was fuming.
Wow.
But someone at your club, like with us, it was our secretary. He apologised. I wanted to strangle him, but you couldn't. You know, growing up, the FA Cup was so great. You want to be in it, and so someone at the club's responsible for that. So someone must have changed it. If they didn't, they just said we're playing him, and they didn't put it on the change, and Swindon are in trouble. But I can't see that. I just don't get it. Now it's on a portal. Maybe they change it, and the other team didn't see it because I don't know. But someone's responsible for that.
The irony is, of course, that the substitution was made at half-time, I think, and it wasn't noted till 20 minutes into the second half because we were all stood around, weren't we, Andy, going, what's going on then? No idea what's happening.
No, I remember asking Connor Ripley, he was walking down the back, and then you sort of like messaging your friends who were watching it on the telly. Everyone was sort of quite bemused. I don't know what Andrew, how quickly Andrew picked up on it, but we were just going, don't really know what's happening here. It was unprecedented. 7 minutes just stood around. And it just seemed surreal, and then you had the post match with Ian sort of saying things like he had a chat with Jack Wilshere, and Jack Wilshere was all right, and they offered to take Drilling off. So there's an awful lot of things that we don't really know the truth or the real reasons. Sam Parkin was mentioned that Tafazoli was warming up with his phone in his hand. And that I think that's what complicated things as well, because he although he wasn't in the matchday squad, he was actually warming up as well. Made it all a bit strange.
Yeah, it was. Oh dear, Mike. I mean, it would be lovely, wouldn't it, to think we go through a season, none of this happens. We get to Wembley, we win that thing, we get promotion, everything's great, sky's blue like it is behind you, wonderful. But it's never quite that simple, is it?
Absolutely. Is the issue on this on the Luton thing not? I mean, the issue regarding Drin and Tafazoli, you can almost understand an administrational error. They're rushing a little bit. He's moaned about the Wi-Fi at Luton didn't work properly. I can almost understand and almost like forgive that. It's the Clark thing that I'm not so sure about. I mean, I remember seeing an interview with Holloway the previous week, or in the last couple of weeks before that game, saying that Ollie Clark would be able to play in that game. We've checked. We've got clearance for him to play in that game. Now, obviously, either somebody checked and they told him the wrong information, or they hadn't checked. And that mistake to me is far more serious than the Drinham one. That's the opinion. The referee seemed to accept the Drinham. Whatever the answer was, the referee seemed to accept it, and Jack Wilshere seemed to accept it. So, but the mistake playing Clark, that's inexcusable. I think that's the thing that will get us down.
Right, we've got some more comments on that, and this is from Hannah. I think Holloway's just annoyed that the FA wanting to fine us, etc. Whatever we do, if they said Clark can play, then how is that the club's fault? If the Luton game wasn't on the portal, there it is again. How are they meant to know? Mind read. The officials for Drinham were terrible. They should have noticed at half time. According to the FA rules and regulations, banned players Clark could play in a Category 2 game. And if Drinham could play and score 3 at Milton Keynes in the Virtue, why couldn't Clark play? And then it goes on. There's more comments. There's confusion over it as he wasn't a red card or something. And rumours that the internet were down on the ground. Andrew, now then, this is my immediate thought, you see. Drinham plays at Milton Keynes, gets a hat-trick whilst suspended. So, in my simple brain, why can he play and Clark can't play?
Okay, so the EFL trophy is basically its own little disciplinary island, if you like, because I think essentially what they wanted to stop was players on 4 yellow cards, knowing they had an EFL trophy game next. You give someone a quick nudge in the ribs or whatever, you get your booking, you get your 5th booking, and you serve it in the trophy rather than a league game. So when Drinham got sent off in the FA Cup, he was suspended for FA Cup and league games, but he could still play in that. And that everyone kind of knew at the time that he was able to play Munro. Again, I think the same applied for Munro.
McGregor as well.
And McGregor.
So that's the kind of short answer. I think that's where the confusion lies, or where it lies over Clark. The club are absolutely insistent that they did the correct checks with the FA. They've got the paperwork to back it up, and they looked where they should look to see if Clark was suspended for the Luton game or not. And they say not. We will find out whether the FA agrees with that or whatever. So I think there is the sort of confusion is over what constitutes a first team game. That's part of it, but that's the short answer as to why Drinham can play at MK Dons, and it's a bit less clear whether Clark can play in this game or not. Does that help?
Is there some conjecture as well whether the word suspension and the word ban are different?
I think that's essentially the same thing.
I think so, but that's been raised as well.
Because the irony is, had Ollie Clark not played at Luton, he would be available for Saturday at Bromley, wouldn't he?
I guess if it kind of counts as a game for the suspension, then yes, you're right. Yeah.
I don't know, Nick. Football, a simple game, isn't it?
It is, but let's be honest, it'd be boring. This is Swindon Town. It'd be too boring. Otherwise, we love all this drama. That's what Swindon's all about.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I knew that they'd get Plymouth at home, because I was thinking, all right, we'll get through to the next round. We get Plymouth away. Great. 40 miles down the road. But oh no, we get them at home. Should we go through, of course. If on all of the club socials had the team news up over half an hour before the game, why can't officials take 1 minute just to check that the socials line up with the portal team sheet? It wouldn't take long. But what you get, Andrew, is not the official team sheet, is it? I mean, I've seen people holding up the press paper. Yeah. That's not the official team sheet. But is it taken from the official team sheet?
I believe, because like I say, it is now submitted electronically. I think when we get a team sheet, it is kind of taken from all the lineups will be taken from whatever has been submitted. Hence, on the press team sheets we got at Luton, as you said, they're just for our kind of benefit. They're a bit archaic now. All the teams come out on Twitter, but that's beside the point. It did clearly have Tafazoli as a substitute. What I thought at the time, shall I add another level of confusion was? When we saw Tafazoli running up and down, I thought he was like struggling a little bit with his ribs. So I was thinking maybe he was originally meant to be a sub and then wasn't. Apparently he's absolutely, I got that wrong because he was absolutely fine. He played on Saturday. And therefore, perhaps they'd switched it around and brought Dryden on. So that was what we thought at the time. But then I think once it seems like someone from Luton spotted the whole thing to do with Dryden when they were bringing on their subs, and then it took us sort of a couple of minutes. But then I think between Sam and I, we kind of figured out what was going because they were waving around lots of bits of paper and making phone calls and all the rest of it.
Yeah, we're stood there going, "What on earth?" Well, the crowd was going, "What's going on?" I think everybody was sort of confused, to say the very least. If that's the case, the FA have no jurisdiction over an EFL game. The whole thing needs bringing together. Same rules, no confusion. I absolutely agree. Just have the same rules across the whole thing and everybody knows where they are then, don't they? I mean, it seems ridiculous to me that you've got one disciplinary code for one competition and one for another. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, let's think briefly then about tomorrow night. Nick, what's your view of the cup game at Salford? What's the result, do you think?
2-1 Swindon.
Excellent. Andy?
Yeah, I should say the same. Yeah.
Mike?
Well, I was going to say the same, but then I'll say 2-0 to us.
2-0. Very good. Mr. Hawes?
I feel like we're in for a long night and penalty drama. There we go.
But will we win the penalties, Andrew?
Oh, just once. Surely by the law of averages, as long as no one watched Brahim Diaz, we'll be absolutely fine.
Indeed.
Yes, that the Senegal situation. There was a classic example. The team walks off the pitch, and then they come back on again and win the competition. How does that work? There we are. Being a Swindon Town fan has more twists and turns than the magic roundabout, says Nicky. Don't officials check players against the team sheet? Dryden's hardly an unknown 18-year-old scholar. With all due respect, Nick, you can get away with that in the league, can't you? You can play somebody and they wouldn't know who they are half the time. Yeah. That's fair enough. Yeah. So what is the panel's take up? Will they kick us out or will they fine us or make us replay it? Oh, for goodness sake, no. I hope not. Let's quickly go round. Kick us out or not, Nick?
No.
We'll Andy?
Through and we'll get fined.
I think we'll be all right.
Mike?
If it had been the boot on the other foot and we'd have lost the game and found that Jerry Yates shouldn't have played for Luton, we'd have been screaming for them to be kicked out. I think we will be kicked out.
Okay. Tony says, Wilts' new 1 hour, 15 minutes before kickoff is per statement made on the Luton's website. The coach said, Dryden, their best man, is not playing. Andrew, what's your gut feeling?
I am worried because Clark is part of the charges. I think if it was just a team sheet thing, I think you could accept a genuine error. They're not trying to play a player who could be in any way seen as suspended in the competition, and you'll be all right. But I worry just because of the Clark thing, much as the club are absolutely robust in saying that he was able to play.
If we still had replays, it would probably end up like that Bolton saga that time. 4 games against Bolton. Wow, that was a strength sapper. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us this evening. I mean, I'd rather not be discussing Luton and stuff, but it's kind of have to be, really. It's the big issue at the minute. But, Chris, let's concentrate on the FA Cup tomorrow. And if you are leaving Swindon, I think you leave West Swindon at 1 o'clock, the County Ground at 1:30, and Cirencester about 10 to 2. I think that's about right, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So thanks very much, guys. Vic and I will see you next week, unless we see you at Salford or Bromley on Saturday. But have a good week. The saga will continue, I'm sure, but we'll probably be debating the outcome maybe on Monday. Anyway, take care and see you soon. Bye.
Rio.
Bye.